of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. With that said, we'll ask Ms. Hamilton to call the roll.
Mr. Hostetler?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Wallace? Mr. Corman?
Present.
Mr. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Pratt?
Here.
Mr. Livingston? Mr. Culbertson?
Here.
Judge Covington?
Present. That said, we have a quorum and we can consider the first matter of business, the minutes from 10:26 and from 11:3. Do we need to do those separately or can we do those together?
It's fine to do.
Okay.
I'll have to abstain.
We'll do them separate then.
All right, we'll do them separate. 10:26 meeting was shared. Those minutes were shared via email as well. Any questions or comments related to those meeting minutes as presented?
No questions. Motion.
Motion from Mr. Hostetler, second from Mr. Corman, not quorum, Mr. Corman. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Then we can consider the minutes from our special called meeting on 11/3. Any questions or comments? Motion from Mr. Corman, second from Mr. Pratt. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Is that the one you're saying?
All right. Transfers. Questions or comments? Motion from Mr. Jones, second from Mr. Pratt. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Bills and hand checks as presented by email. And then we do have their capital fund to general fund, $100,348.50, and then WEX to general fund, $13,941.76. Any questions or comments with those?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Hostetler, second from Mr. Pratt. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Let the record reflect that Mr. Livingston is in attendance.
Such a weird.
Mr. Wallace is ready. He's on Zoom.
He didn't reply.
Sam, or Mr. Wallace, can you confirm you're on Zoom? He's on there. Like text him to make sure that, because he had logged on when I came up. There he is. So we'll correct that on the minutes there. Very good, Mr. Wallace, thank you. We will now go to item number 7. Joe Broyles, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
You're going to present a quarterly report.
Yes, sir. Good morning, magistrates. I'm here to present the third quarter report on the jail to you all, and I've presented a copy of it to each of you as well. Just going down the bullet point list, the physical plant. We're working still on getting our control room renovated. The original date that it was supposed to be done by was mid to late December. They're ahead of schedule, which is fantastic, and it looks like the beginning of December that should be completely done and they should be out of there. Staffing levels, we had somebody just put in resignation last week, but including that, we have 27 full-time right now, and we have 1 pending new hire with 7 part-timers. The inmate population this morning was 97, with 23 inmates being housed at other county jails. The monthly highs for the quarter was July 132, August was 128, and September was 132. And that does not include those being housed at other jails. Additional info, just 2 items. One is that our longtime nurse unfortunately decided to leave. She is with our medical provider, so she's not an employee of the jail or of Scott County. But she had been with us for 11 years. She decided to leave a couple of months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, and then starting next week, I'm going to be requesting proposals for the medical provider at the jail. We've been with SHP for about 11 years, and I'd like to see what else we have out there as far as options go. I've got a couple of companies, including SHP, that I'd like to send proposal specs to and have them respond.
Is that something that we put out an official bid on jailer broils?
Yeah, so this is a little bit different than the bid process. This is a professional service to the jail, and it can be through proposal, which means I can send the bid specs, the proposal specs, directly to the companies for them to respond if they wish with a proposal response.
Will those specs include what type of coverage going forward?
So actually, one of the differences between what we currently have and what I want to have down there is going, as you all know, we have limited medical at our facility. I'd like to increase that a little bit. 24-hour medical would be ideal, but I don't think that's quite necessary, trying to weigh the costs and benefits. So going from 8 hours on the weekends and 10 hours through the week of medical coverage to 12 hours every day of medical coverage. And there's some other minor changes, but that's the big change as far as the medical proposal. I'll get a copy to you, Judge, as soon as I have that finalized, which will be this week, and you can disseminate it to the rest of the court.
Your preference would be going from what we have now is 8 hours a day. And you said 10 hours on the...
Correct. Monday through Friday, it's 10 hours.
Monday through Friday is 10 hours, 8 hours on the weekends.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you would prefer to go to 12 hours on a daily basis?
Yes.
We'd be curious to see how that would change on our budget level. Questions or comments?
He did reach out to the CACO attorney to make sure he's going about all this the right way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you going to CACO the conference next week?
No, sir, unless you think there's a reason that...
Well, I was just thinking a lot of times those other vendors are present at the annual conference, so
Okay.
there might be some others that are out there that you may be interested in.
Well, there's a list of vendors going to be there.
It's quite possible that if they don't have it, I can get a copy of it and send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I guess the vendors are just going to be there for specific days, right?
Thursday's probably the best day to go over.
Okay.
And,
yeah, if you could send me a list and remind me of what the day is that the vendor, I'd love to be over there to see what's over there.
And on the monthly highs, is that like like one day that was the high, or is that kind of okay?
That's actually one moment.
One moment,
yes.
Okay.
So that is where we peaked for the month, and it could have been, you know as well as I do, the population
4th.
down there goes up and down. It could have been somebody coming in there for a few hours and gone that
Okay.
made us reach that number. Obviously, I'm more concerned with our highs than I am our lows.
But most of those days are Mondays, because we follow along kind of, and most of those days are Mondays when people are coming in for court from different spots.
Right.
And of course, on weekends, you get more people that are booked in.
That's right. Yeah, and holiday weekends. The codas, which are brought in for court a couple of times a month, those really tend to send our numbers up high for a few days. So these are our highs. I would say our average down there is running about 115 or so on any given day.
Well, we still, probably our most inmates are Clark County still. Is that correct?
No, sir, LaRue
Outside
County.
LaRue.
Correct. We've got about 5 or 6 in Clark County, about 5 or 6 in Oldham County, and then I think we've got about 10 in LaRue.
What, how does, there's 23 right now, and I'm just thinking budget, 23 inmates housed at other jails. How many can we have per month? Do you know that number? So we don't blow the budget out for paying these other jails for housing these inmates?
Yeah, we're already going to go over what's budgeted for the year. And what I try to do is not have a knee-jerk reaction, just like on days that we have codas. If you just look at the days we have codas, and you're like, oh my gosh, we've got 130-some inmates down here, we need to ship out a bunch of inmates. No, those numbers are going to go back down. So I try to, in a very measured, deliberate way, utilize these other jails. And so it's a slow progression is what I try to do as far as getting our inmates into other facilities. The other thing that I have to keep in mind is there's a process that takes time and takes labor on the other jails facility as well as our facility as far as getting them booked in, getting them transferred. So I can't just, our numbers have dropped back down. It would be difficult on us, more difficult on us. It would be more difficult on the facilities that are housing for us if I wanted to kind of pull those inmates back at a moment's notice. So I try to, again, in a deliberate way, kind of slowly send inmates out as I see our numbers creeping up and realize that the numbers will come back down. Just try to ride out the ebbs and flows. So I will tell you that we're going to be over the budget on housing in other counties this year, though.
Do we bring people back though? Say there's certain, they're supposed to be in there a month, and you start to see your numbers go down, and you start pulling folks back after a while?
Yeah, if I were to see our numbers consistently be lower, then I'd look at bringing them back. What's that?
You haven't had to do that?
Haven't had to do that yet. You know, last month, October, which is not included in this, we got up to 137 in our jail, and that's with housing in other facilities. So even as recently as October, we were 137. So anyway, but certainly it's something I would consider. If it looks like the pattern is that our numbers have dropped, then certainly bringing some back, I think, would be the right thing to do, and it would be the most cost-effective measure regarding our budget as well.
And those 23 inmates, some of those are your keepaways,
That's right, yes.
and you want to selectively and strategically move to try to address issues that you've witnessed and had.
That's right.
But like those 23 inmates, none of them are state inmates, are they?
Correct. They're all our county inmates.
They're all our county
Yes.
awaiting trial.
Right.
And, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and we've always, as you all know, we've always housed a certain number in other counties. It's a little bit higher than what it's been the last couple of years, but I mean, in years past, it's been 10 or 15, and it's just been a little bit elevated here the last 6 months or so.
What other questions or comments?
Appreciate the information.
Yes, sir.
Well, one quick one. What did you say your proposal is on how many hours? Is that
It's 12 hours every day.
7 days?
Yeah, so that'd be an increase Monday through Friday of a couple hours a day, and on the weekends, it'd be an increase of 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
And where it would really help us is night shift tends to get less time with actual medical professionals in the facility.
What would be the start time?
So I specify that actually in the specs because when our long-term nurse left, she had been coming in about 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. So really, our shifts go from 7A to 7P, 7P to 7A. And so that was allowing 5 or 6 hours every shift with night shift, which was great. When she left and we had a new nurse come in, this was not specified in our current contract for them to start at a certain time. Well, she started coming in at 7 o'clock and leaving like at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Well, night shift wasn't seeing her at all. And so I went to SHP and I went to the nurse and said, hey, can we get her in here a little bit earlier so that night shift can at least have an hour or two with her to bounce situations off of her and everything. So in the new proposal, I specified that the start time of the shift has to be between midnight and 5 a.m.
Any numbers on MRT, GED, anything else programmatic-wise going?
Nope. We continue to do referrals for Isaiah House, not as many as I'd like, but we run into issues. The inmates get in and they get out too quick. They come in and they're too intoxicated. They come in and their charges don't fit. We seem to have seen an increase in individuals being brought in on warrants. And so we look at the charges that they had previously, the charge that the warrant is for, but oftentimes it's a failure to appear. It's nothing specific to a recent or an immediate charge. It's more for failing to appear in court or failing to pay fines. And so the charges haven't been dictating as many of those referrals as I would have liked as well.
Do y'all track, because I saw them out the other day, and it's a great thing to do, like, do y'all track how much trash you pick up and stuff like that?
We do. Yeah, we, before COVID, and we haven't, Ryan, quite gotten completely geared back up, because pre-COVID, we had 2 male crews going out 5 days a week, and then we had a female crew going out 2 or 3 days a week. So we were doing a lot of stuff for the community, for the Housing Authority, Park and Recreation, school system, Public Works. And so post-COVID, in trying to gear back up, and it's a little bit more difficult to gear up post-COVID as well, because the qualified inmates are not as plentiful as they were before, because the governor has let a lot of people out. And the sentencing has not allowed for the classification of these inmates, and we have to have certain classification in order to get them out on to be state approved, to get them out on the road crew. But pre-COVID, we were picking up about 11,000 bags a year. I would say we're probably this year going to pick up about 6,000 bags.
Do they have to be a Class C
or D.
Or
yeah,
D.
Yeah, and a level 1 or a level 2. And the other thing, and we've discussed this as well, the state really drags its feet on this classification. They can leave the inmates sitting in county jails for an extended period of time. Now, they're supposed to classify them, if I remember right, within 3 months. But they go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months leaving these individuals in county jail. And in my opinion, it's because they get a bargain having a state inmate in a county jail and paying us $34, $35 a day, as opposed to them being in a state prison, to where the costs for the state are much more.
$75, $80.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's a philosophical issue across the state right now, and the state should be allocating more dollars for corrections. And
Yes.
it should not sit on the county. And there's a lot of discussion about it right now.
But, and you know, as far as the per diem goes, that just got raised last year, and the state had gone 11, 12, 13 years without raising the per diem. And that's just hurting the citizens of the individual counties. They're passing the buck or deferring the buck to us, and not paying for our costs. Have obviously gone up the last 11, 12 years in housing the inmates, but they just raised it this past year, and they just raised it a few bucks, from 31 something to 34 something, which is what we're at right now.
There's not one inmate in our facility because they violated County Ordinance X. They are all there because they have violated a statute of the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you 100% that the state should allocate more dollars towards corrections.
And just for clarity, so those folks, even when they finally do classify them, they still don't leave the jail.
Correct, yeah. They don't leave the jail immediately. They classify them, and they can leave them sitting in the jail even beyond that, right?
Well, what is that process? So they get classified.
Right.
And so are they actively trying to put them in a state facility, or are they actively leaving them here?
Right. Supposedly, they're actively trying to get them into a state facility. My personal opinion is they're taking their time because they're getting kind of a bargain with these county jails of housing state inmates. And the other problem with the classification, if I didn't touch on this a second ago, is they have to be classified to work in these outside the jail work programs. And so that kind of hinders us as well, as far as with the work programs.
And
So,
on behalf of the court, in the community, greatly appreciate those crews going out picking up trash. And I think I shared with you not too long ago, a lady had stopped me and wanted me to express their appreciation of the cleanup as well. So
I appreciate it.
Anything else?
Yeah, I was contacted just last week. They saw some crews out, and they were appreciative of that, so.
It just like, I'm going to mention, JR right now is working with Swartz Contracting, and, they're doing this massive sweep across the county, and it's so needed. And all these, all those bags that are out, JR and the city will collaborate and get all those bags up. We save money because JR and the city or help us get that done, but the maintenance that you all are able to do on the spot really helps. Like Lyle Road is the worst in the county. For some reason, people like to go out there and gun it and just throw trash out the window.
Right.
It drives me nuts. But we get calls, and Jared will call you, and you try to help, and that's much appreciated on that maintenance side of it. And then us coming twice a year doing these big cleanups helps keep our county clean, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and all of you know this, but certainly if you hear of any areas that need hitting, all you got to do is call or email me, and we'll get it on the list.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we'll go on now. The deed of easement to Kentucky Utilities. Cam reviewed this. JR went out there and rode with KU's team in a great effort to try to reduce the number of trees that might need to be removed, but still get electric service to the new Scott County High School, which is needed. There's only I think we really JR helped navigate it very well, and I called KU and thanked them for helping. We shared the email that shows the path. So any questions, and I think we just need an approval of the easement
through some property to be able to run lines.
as shown. Any questions?
I'll make a motion.
Motion. Second from Mr. Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you all. EMS new hires. 2, correct?
Yes, we have 2, and I'm pleased to present these 2. The first is Sam Morrison as a paramedic, effective, it'll be on or after this coming Monday, November 13th at $17.49 an hour. And the second is Robin Sargent. She's currently a part-time employee with us, but she'll be moving to a full-time status as an EMT, effective November 27th at $14.18 an hour. And a very positive thing, I want to remind you of this, is Robin comes to us with 11 years of experience, and Sam with 8 years of experience, and just our compensation structure, how it has permitted us to compete for talented people and start them at a higher pay rate and allow us to be competitive in the market is so huge to our success here. So just want to remind you of that. But anyhow, I have those 2 recommendations to present to you.
Questions or comments? Motion, Kelly Corman. I think I saw a second from Dwayne Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Where's that put us on our total number?
He's already said it.
All right. I need to clean my ears out, Rick. I'm sorry.
Are we having a lot more applications?
Not for paramedic, but we do better for EMT.
Okay.
Still plugging away. All right, this next question, Sheriff Hampton, Captain Nettles, this conversation kind of stems in 2 parts, and I'm going to, Captain Nettles sent me a inventory list with current mileage and such, and I'll be transparent and 100% clear. I've not dug into that as much as I would like to dig into that. Kind of the stem of that, sending that to me, was the concern that there was going to be a shortage of available vehicles for next budget year. Correct. And trying to get a handle on reserving X vehicles to meet the need for next budget year. So we started that conversation. We did. Really didn't get dug into it, and then a deer hits an Explorer on the Bluegrass Parkway, totals that.
The deer hit the Explorer?
The deer hit an Explorer
Does
is what
the
I was
deer have
told.
insurance? Yeah. Sounds like the deer's at fault.
It was a hit and run, David.
Yeah, it was a hit and run.
Now,
Did you file a report?
as of yesterday, we had not gotten a dollar amount on insurance. We've got probably a ballpark thought of 15,000 or something. I would like to know, like, how many pool vehicles we've got sitting out there. And then I know that we're trying to add SROs. That's a fair piece of conversation. They need some type of vehicle, and, could they drive an older vehicle, and then you navigate through. But so what I'm trying to present to you all is, I think the sheriff has shared some specs on a Silverado pickup truck. And I think the intent was to replace the wrecked vehicle, but there's a big picture question that has many moving parts and many questions for me to try to get a strategic plan to address the need. So I'll let you all talk.
Where we're at now on vehicles and pool cars, prior to the wreck, we had 3 current pool cars that are used when other cars are broke down. Well, since the wreck, one of those pool cars has now been assigned to Deputy Mabry, who had the total vehicle. That now leaves us with 2 pool cars. We have a pending hire. He's already accepted the position. Our last remaining open school contract position is going to start in January. He's going to need one of those cars. It's going to bring us down to 1 pool car. So that's kind of our current vehicle situation. We have 4 cars that are currently at L&W that are waiting to be outfitted. So whenever they're completed, that'll put a couple cars back into our pool car situation.
Jeremy, so you have how many at L&W?
No, two patrol vehicles.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for them to be completed.
Are those the Tahoes?
They are Tahoes, yeah.
Is
So
there
that'll
a
end.
reason- Are we going with the trucks because you can't get Tahoe? Is that?
Exactly. So right now, the only thing available, other than this truck and it's black, are white Tahoes. One white Tahoe. And it's going to be the same price as what this truck is.
Well, one of the other issues is the availability next year, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
And
so-
we're kind of talking about the next budget. So what about pricing? That's-
55,000 is what they're going up to. And he
And
emailed
that's
me
the
during
base?
last meeting wanting to know an estimate of how many.
That's
we
the
were gonna need.
base that it's going up to.
Well, that's before upfit, but that'd be
Right,
state contract.
because this base one is 45.8 here, so that's a pretty good little increase.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
So let me ask you this. We've had these conversations, we've added SROs, and there's no question that SROs need a vehicle. My question is, could we look at a different type of vehicle? Does it have to be a police pursuit rated vehicle for the SRO?
No.
I can tell you other school districts do not have.
So that's,
Yes, yes.
that's where I'm going.
There's a school district that volleyball played at that sitting outside, well, it's Franklin County. I think they had electric vehicles for their SROs.
So
I don't think the vehicle itself matters.
Was sitting right outside the
vehicle
gym.
needs to be marked.
Yeah.
It needs
it needs to be marked,
That's a big
100%.
That being seen in the parking lot.
And I'm not saying electric vehicles, I'm just saying it goes from one extreme to the other.
So let's stop there and let's circle back to a conversation that we just had. And the school board has passed and will fund 3 more SROs. And then the hope is going forward after July 1, that those SROs are paid for by the school system. So how many total SROs, let's say August of next year, will we have? If we, that's a big question.
10.
So like,
Plan for that long term, I guess.
10. Well, there'll be 10 total.
there'll be 10.
10
So
in the
like,
sheriff's department?
Yes.
So what's the city doing?
the city's covering.
Because I just saw the city is hiring for SROs
Trying.
also.
It's the same number.
So,
Right.
Right now,
to talk to that, it's about the same. They have not filled all their positions, but there's
But they would have the same issue.
they'll have the same issue. So my big picture thinking is, can we find a model of vehicle that we could get all our SROs in? And, you know, I don't know, like, I'm just trying to, there's a lot of moving pieces and we're adding SROs. I don't think that we need, and we just need a marked vehicle that's runs efficiently.
Right now, though, what the SROs are driving are the oldest fleet we have.
Sure. I know.
They are the oldest, and it's okay because they're driving it from home to school.
Yeah.
But
yes, at a school, it needs to be marked, it needs to be visible, and
correct.
Of course, you want it to be efficient and safe and all those other things.
So I think to answer your question, moving forward, like we could buy Dodge Chargers. They're significantly cheaper for SROs, but they're not really practical for patrol.
Sure. But
it doesn't even have to be a Dodge Charger. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
There's
really
a
hybrid
vehicle
Camry
that you might find on the street.
I mean, we could buy something that's not police package. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
How many SROs right now have a Tahoe?
None.
None.
Well, I take that back. Our three original SROs, Joe
Boom.
Thomas, Bryce Ernest, and Ray Sean Williams, have Tahoes. Well, Joe has the truck, the Dare truck, but Ray Sean and Bryce have Tahoes.
Okay.
The rest
Where
are
they were
Chargers.
patrol prior to being a school resource.
I just think we ought to look big picture of how we can meet the need of the SRO vehicle, and maybe, and since it's only 3, or it's really just 2, it's not like we'd be putting those into patrol vehicles, you know, that many. But big picture, we need to talk about how to address it. And
I hadn't really thought about the vehicles side of things before.
But like, so, like a Camry, like they could use a Camry? As long as it's,
Yeah.
I'd say
No,
like a-
we spoke with the judge, and it'd be nice if we could get a Camry, a Toyota Camry or something like that, and just strap it up.
I mean, I say we look at that option, like support local and
no, that's
save
where I was
some money.
That's where I was going. Like, if we could get a bid out next budget year,
Come on now, David. I think state contract on it.
if we could get a bid out next year
Yeah.
and see what we could do there. But the bottom line is, your all's presence here today is because you got 2 coming from L&W that will go into patrol vehicles, but you only still really have two vehicles that are pool cars.
Currently, until we hire the last SRO starts in January. That'll leave us with 1 pool car.
Plus 2 that you're gonna.
Plus the 2 that we're going
Yeah.
to pass down, correct? So
The
that,
SROs, those Tahoes, do you know the mileage on those?
I could probably pull it up and give you exact on my phone. I would say they're probably right around
Bright.
80 and 100,000.
So the one Bryce has is one of the older ones. And who's the other one?
Ray Sean has a black one was their first year of black, so it's 3 or 4 years old. So it's really
It's
good.
a 18 or 19.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So if we went and bought 2 sedans, whatever it might be, it'd be great to support local. But if we went and bought 2 sedans at a less expensive price, got them wrapped, signage, whatever, transition those into SRO vehicles now, we could move those into patrol vehicles, those 2 vehicles. Like, they need lights, of course,
Yes, because
but do they need a mobile or do they need a portable?
Keep in mind, though, not the contract SROs, but the full-time SROs, we work them in the summer.
Correct.
They work
Good,
patrol.
good point.
Yes.
Fair point.
And,
185 days versus
yeah, and they will be
So those 2
transporting
guys really
prisoners.
need their
they need a pool.
Tahoe.
Yes.
Actually, Joe, too.
And
Because-
Joe needs the Dare, I mean, that's why we bought the Dare truck.
Yeah, well, and plus in the summer, he patrols in it.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
those 3
those
spots.
3 are different,
Yes.
but the other 7 going forward,
Absolutely.
so like,
They would need lights. The contract SROs would need lights because they do direct school traffic in the mornings. They need their lights. Yes.
anybody else got questions?
But would they need a computer and all that stuff in the car?
No, they don't need a computer and all that. No. We issue them all laptops that they can take into their office.
And they all got mobile.
Yes, oh yeah, they all.
They would need a.
Technically need a radio.
They don't need the
Yes.
radio in the vehicle.
Correct.
It sounds like we need to get together at SRO World and just sit down and hash it out. I probably need to do it from a district standpoint with both city and county, kind of have that plan moving forward.
But what do you all want to do on the request?
This is just a replacement.
That's the, right.
Correct.
But I'm thinking though, like, you know, if we went and found a state contract vehicle that met the needs, but it really
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They need them.
Yeah, because they have to have the bigger truck.
But so we have 6 or 7 SROs right now working.
We have 6 right
We've
now.
got
7
6.
when the one starts in January.
So those other 3 are just driving older,
high mileage
Yeah.
cars.
I thought we had 7, including Joe, even though he's there.
We got Christie, we got Mike
Derek.
Cottle, we have Derek, and then Bryce, Rayshawn, and Joe.
Okay.
Brad Durr will be their 7th.
Okay.
Starts in January.
And then we're adding 3, which will make 10.
Yes.
So we need to really deal with this truck, but the other discussion, we need to be having that. Not necessarily.
Moving forward, I think that's a great option, especially with the Camry. I think.
Wait until next budget. SRO?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is like an emergency purchase.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
I was just thinking for the other.
The SRO plan, I think it's a long-term thing that both city and county. I make a motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Now let me ask you this question before we call it. How long is that going to take? Is it sitting on the lot at Bachman?
No, it's being built right now and then shipping, so December.
Now the next question is, there's a motion.
This December.
Dwayne, is that motion for that money to come out of the sheriff's department budget?
You want to amend your motion?
Well, we don't know until we look at the report.
Just not my paycheck.
Yeah, it's just not your paycheck.
It says on here this is for Clark County.
It's
I know
not.
this is a similar.
Yeah, it's just.
Michelle,
It's the same vehicle.
there's no new
It's-
vehicle
yeah.
money in their budget right now.
No, we don't have the money to buy this truck in our budget. And we're not even talking about upfit either, but we'll figure that out.
Upfit on that truck be right at 30?
No,
It'll be minimal, because this will be a vehicle that'll go to
It'll be an admin vehicle.
so it'll have very few lights.
12 to 15 at the most.
And then a Tahoe will go
My
back in
vehicle
the,
would be passed down. My vehicle is already patrol ready except for a cage. It just needs
And
a cage.
striping.
And striping.
What year's?
The wrecked vehicle? What year's the wrecked? 16?
I thought it was at 17.
so let me, like,
I've gotten a lot of bills the past month that we're not budgeted for, a lot, and we're pulling and making it work, so we'll just do the same thing.
Are you talking about though on repairs or?
No.
Okay.
well, we've got a motion, we got a second. Are there any other questions? There's a motion and a second, and then we'll navigate it from there. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll go from there. Surplus EMA, electrical and road.
Those came from JR.
We're going to surplus of 99
I was going to ask you
I'm
that.
sorry, though. So there's a 99 Tahoe,
I got a 2001 Chevy.
a 92 International 4700, a 2002 Dodge Durango, and a 97 GMC dump truck. Any questions or comments? Motion from Kelly, second from David. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I know the one's electrical. Is there a time when they're going to replace that vehicle for the electrical department, or?
We shifted an EMS vehicle to, or no. We shifted an animal control vehicle
To EMS?
to electrical. No, to EMS, and then from EMS to electric.
Yes.
There's the chairs that we did.
So they got a
trying to save money.
They got a pretty decent vehicle.
Yeah.
These are
That's all
old,
I was worried about. Yeah, because that Durango.
worn-out vehicles that
Yeah.
need to go and get them off for insurance, and the repair bills go down, and, yeah.
So, and along those lines, our PVA, John Burke, had a vehicle that was surplused to the fiscal court, and that is now a pool vehicle, and it is a Ford Escape.
Yes.
That if in a pinch, any of, electrical or anybody can use.
Yes.
And it's in very good shape, so. And then Chief Ward, Chief Baker, Fire Department bid.
Judge Mazur's, we had in our current year's budget for a maintenance building out at 2200 Cincinnati Road. We did put that out for bid. We received 2 bids on that, and it would be our recommendation to accept the bid from Tri-County Pole Barns in the amount of $207,110.
Now, it's $7,000 over what we budgeted, but I went out and visited with Chief Baker and Chief Ward. We had $30-some thousand budgeted for fencing around that. After looking at it, there is no reason to fence it off. It's just, it's not a good use of dollars, is it? So their proposal to me was, Judge, could we use that money that was allocated for the fencing in lieu of that for this, for this overage, $7,000 overage on the building?
Right.
So that's where that money's coming from. I just want everybody to know that we'd kind of discussed that. And it's going to have eight bays.
8 bays.
And roof's going to be insulated. It's got the electrical.
Not electrical.
It doesn't have the electrical in this part of the bid?
It was bid without electric hooked to it, and that was going
Okay.
to be maybe a portion of that 30,000 after the overage.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the electrical is going to be, heck, you two know better than I do on that, but we've got that extra money that should cover the electrical.
Yeah, but that's not part of what
No.
we're looking at.
It's not part of that current bid.
Yeah, I went out and visited the judge this morning and looked at it with them, and so we're basically getting the shell with an insulated roof, concrete slab that the building's going to be enclosed, and so that's the basics. And then going forward, if you're electrical, they're going to want it, but you have time to do that. And
Yeah.
But I seen where gravel's not included in their price also. So I guess that'll come out of that 30,000 or?
We had spoken to JR before. Once we get the contract signed, we're going to have a member of Tri-County come out and sit with JR and look at their area where we built it and figure out exactly how much gravel we're looking at and ground prep. So basically, I think JR is going to help us with that a little bit.
JR is going to help.
To help cut costs on that.
Level it out and everything.
It was a little tricky because JR and I met out there with him, and the way it lays out there is kind of tricky, and we don't want water running into the building. So
That's the issue we have with our current build right now out there. Gets a lot of water runoff.
we're going to try to navigate that, but saving money by doing that. Anything else?
Nothing I'm aware of.
But what this will do, it'll get a lot of apparatus out of the elements.
Our trailers.
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 And it'll get things that need to be sheltered, and it's also going to impact EMA is going to use some of the bays too.
That was one of the best decisions we made when we built the road park. Was to get everything out of that.
Yeah.
Right, because all that, like our trailers and all that specialized equipment, that's a lot of money that's just sitting out there in the elements. And, if we can get them inside, it's just going to extend the life of those
And
equipment.
and it's going to be painted the same gray. The color is going to be the same gray as the training center, and then it'll have black doors on it, I guess.
I think these doors here
White.
are gonna be white or gray. I'm pretty sure they're white.
The bay doors that you all approved last meeting, those will be black.
So do we want to get these doors black to match the bay doors of the building?
We've come to find out that ordering the doors is probably cheaper to paint those doors after
Okay.
than it really is to order them. So, yeah.
I just wanted it to, and I know we're going to paint that other building to match this new building. So I just didn't want it to look, such. So would there be a motion to accept this? Motion and a second, or a question? I'm sorry.
No, it's a motion.
Motion.
Or Robbie,
Not
either
second.
way.
And thank y'all for going out there.
Yeah, also, just for transparency, the authorized signature for this Tri-County, what was their name?
Pole Barnes.
Yeah, same last name as mine, but to my knowledge, I don't know the fellow, and to my knowledge, we're not related.
Let the record reflect.
Just to be transparent.
There's a lot of Hostettlers out there now.
I don't think so.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you all.
No, thank you all. With that said, since this is a special called meeting, we cannot have any new business. I can share dates or any events that need to be shared. That's just common sense. But anybody have the fire prevention parade tonight at what time? 6.
Starts at 6:30.
6:30, and anybody that wants to jump on a fire engine can go to military, 6 o'clock.
Not anybody.
Magistrates.
You might have some public show up being like, I want to ride the fire.
Let me refresh my comment, revise my comment. Any magistrate or for any staff member in this room, if y'all want to ride one, you're welcome. Any other dates or anything?
Don't forget the Veterans Day.
Oh, 1,000 times yes. Veterans Day is Friday. That's why we're closed tomorrow. And I know that several elementary schools, high schools all have events for Veterans Day, and we are indebted to those very, very much and appreciate their service and sacrifice for our country. So with that said, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Chris.
What's the date for next quarter?
Good. 21st. And I'm glad you brought that up because we will meet at 7 on the 21st. But at 4:30 p.m., we will have a groundbreaking at the EMS facility. 4:30 on the 21st. I was trying to get it around court. So 4:30 on the 21st, groundbreaking.
I'll go ahead and tell you, I have Christmas with my mom that night in Louisville, so I will not be here.
21st of November. All right. With that said, we have a motion to
Not
adjourn.
Christmas,
A second.
Yeah.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion. We are adjourned. You meant Thanksgiving. EMS.
Well, I do choose.
I am,